What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. D and Duel commentary, commentating on a Sunday. We're jumping right back into it. We have Donair Meat Sos. Okay, 1416 versus the Viper 99. I like my names a little simpler. 1031. As soon as I saw a field of chicken game plus like drag down, I was like, all right, we got to record this. So chicken game was played, drag down was played. Drag down is what got this into the graveyard. He originally discarded a Brow. Looks like he followed that up with a tour guide. Tour guide got Brow. Then he played Dark World, or he played Gates. He's played like a ton of field spells so far. He's played chicken game. He's played Gates. Not really sure what this is a means to the, like, I don't know what the end is. But I kind of want, I'm interested. Now, keep in mind, he knows what the Viper's entire hand is, except the card that he drew off of, drag down. Everything else he knows, and, you know, they pretty much know each other's hand. Alright, he's just activating cards just to be activating them. I believe that is the third field spell he has activated this turn. This is looking like almost pseudo-spacious. Pseudo-space-ish. Okay, whatever. Alright, so he's going for, Grapha. I assume he'll go for Levier. Levier into Brow, Levier into, Snow into Grapha, which is, it's a really strong field in any format. Cause he went for Brow instead. I think like Snow's a better play, but that's just me. Okay. So he's gonna get Grapha. And I mean, you have a 3K beater, you have an 1800, and you get to keep your Brow for next turn for your gate. So it's like a really strong play. Maybe you can back it up with like a skill drain or something like that. It's really, really strong. All right, now we get to finally see what the Viper's playing, because just seeing a Soul Charge, that doesn't tell me anything other than maybe he's not playing Pendulums, I guess. All right, so he's playing Burning Abyss, and he reveals Kagna. That gets Mind Crushed. Okay, he knew everything in his opponent's hand. So Burning Abyss versus Dark World, the battle of the dark decks. Who is the more darkest? All right, so I guess both of these decks are going to play Foolish Burial. And I don't know, man. I might have to give an advantage to Dark World here. I just think it's kind of tough to get over a Grapha unless you spin it with Virgil or something. All right. So Seer summoned, has not used his normal summon. If only people still played, what's it called? If only people still played the, what's the continuous trap? The one that lets you banish cards with Dark World. No one fucking plays it. I can't remember its name. Oh wow, he has the Skarn plus the Seer. Has both of the effects locked and loaded too. Alright, goes for Dante. And mill 3 time. Alright, goes with Seer. Okay, and hits another Seer, rip. And hits another Skarn. Alright, so he'll get a couple of searches for a couple of turns. Looks like we're gonna see a lot of tour guides in this duel. Even though the card's limited, I guess both players are just using it to hell and back. All he has to do is just avoid, if he can avoid Fire Lake, he should be fine. If not, then he'll lose. If he gets Fire Lake, it's a wrap, pretty much. It's a wrap. Alright, so everything is set for the Viper, and play's gonna go to mint after giving Viper a tour guide, probably. Actually, I don't really like this match for Dark World. It's too much stuff to remove Grapha. Phoenix from One Blast and Karmika is like kind of easy to get rid of Grapha, to be honest. Anti-Spell Fragrance is played. Okay, so tech of the format, Anti-Spell Fragrance. He can still use Gates though, but that does actually hurt Viper a lot. Unless he just decides maybe he has a Graph in his hand, he gets to blow it up or something like that. So he is going to activate Gates. He's going Gates, baby. He's going Gates. No, he's going to activate Fire Lake. Oh, rest in pepperonis. And, yeah, Mental Field is Gonzo, and he's gonna activate a whole bunch of effects. Now, the good news is he can get his Grapha back. The bad news is, everything else. Everything else that happened. That's the bad news. For Dark World to only be able to use spells after they've been set is terrible. Like, that's really, really bad. This is a speed deck that wants to draw like 18 cards in a turn. And you ain't gonna be doing that if your opponent has anti-spell fragrance, or as I like to think of it, anti-spell dankness. Alright, so it looks like Grapha's gonna be summoned by Brow. That's the good utility of the deck. I feel like Dark World needs another like big boss mod. It needs like a card just like Graph, but like when it attacks, your opponent can't activate spells and traps, in response to it. And, you know, when it successfully attacks, you get to banish like 2 cards on your opponent's field and it doesn't target. Like, that would be awesome. That's what they need. But it doesn't have a discard. Man, actually, like when you discard it, you gain like 2,000 life points, something like that. It just can't be like, the discard effect can't be that good. The on-field effect has to be good, and give it the same stats and same summoning condition as like Grapha. That would be awesome. Alright, so he gets himself a Rubik. Here's the question though. How are you going to make any plays with Rubik? Because, you are currently locking yourself out of special summoning. So Virgil's going to be a lot harder to get to than you think. Unless you have like Seer or Graph and you can sit on that for a turn, maybe. Now I wonder if Mint set a card that it's a real trap, or if it's just a, like is it maybe just a spell that he wanted to use during his next turn. It's still bugging me that I can't think of that continuous trap. Alright, so looks like he's gonna banish. Oh wait, never mind, he's gonna be able to get the Virgil. Totally forgot he has the good and evil in his graveyard. So he should be able to get the Virgil right now, because he could just normal summon Rubik. And then he could spin Grapha right back to the deck. And that might close this game out. Alright, so what's gonna happen here? Maybe even get a Fire Lake. Search another Fire Lake. That wouldn't be a bad play. Search another Fire Lake. No, he's gonna search Traveler. Okay. That was a card that didn't become popular until just recently, I guess. Get himself a Graph. And looks like, yeah, he's going for his buddy Virgil. Okay, Virgil's gonna get summoned here, I would assume. Virgil, the Rock Star of the Burning Abyss. He'll have to pitch a card. What does he not use this turn? Well, Graph is obviously in play because Graph's gonna get its effect. See, this is why he should have got Fire Lake. Fire Lake would have been ready to go. He has 2 BAs on the field. Just has to find something to pitch here. What is he gonna pitch? Or maybe he's not even gonna use the effect. Maybe he's just set Fire Lake or set Traveler and just pass turn or something. I don't know. Just doesn't seem like it would be very, like, efficient to summon Virgil and not use the effect immediately. Because I don't believe that Mint has a trap back there. I believe it's a spell that he wanted to use, but he couldn't because Anti-Spell Fragrance is on the field. The card is just really, really good. Burning Abyss have never really needed to run that many spells. Most in part because, well, even if you get good and evil, you don't have to, like, you can use it from the graveyard, so. Alright, so it looks like he's going after the back row. And it looks like it was a spell. It's going back to Mint's deck. Graph's gonna get banished so that he can do some battle damage. It's gonna hit him for, 4,200? Okay, he hits him for 42. Sets 2 cards. I think he's basically daring him to attack. Because he's basically saying, like, okay, if you attack me, either I'm gonna draw a card and I'm getting Virgil right back, or, because that's Babar, right? Or I'm gonna burn you to death, and I'm gonna get Babar back, and then I'm gonna ram, I'm gonna burn you to death. Like, you can't, I don't know how Mint's gonna win. I don't think he can win. Cause the Anti-Spell Fragrance is hurting him way too much. In addition, if he happens to attack Babar, he's just gonna, like, he might even get burned to death here. Cause Babar is what, 300 per card or something like that, I think? Yeah, 300 per card. It's like, wow, he runs into Babar. Maybe he doesn't know what Babar does. Cause, dude, you're about to get, like, burned to death here. I wonder if he has 7 cards. If he has 7 cards, he can kill him. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just does 3 cards. Fair enough. And will he activate Traveler? That's going to be the question here. Sets a monster. You don't see that very often in Dark World. Sets a card in the back row. I thought he'd go a little more than that, but just sets a T-set. I thought he was going to go more with Babar, to be honest. In phase, Viper must be thinking about doing something. Decides to just draw and not use his Traveler. Alright, so this time he's going to attack the face down. It's a brown. No use even playing that, I guess. I probably just would have left that in my hands. And sets 1 and passes. Back to Mint. I just don't think there's any benefit of setting a monster in a Dark World deck if your opponent knows clearly it is not like it's Morphing Jar or anything, you know? Like it's not Sangan down there. So it's like, there's like no point of setting a monster in Dark World. Your opponent is going to instantly read it as a Dark World card. Traveler is going to be flipped over. He'll get his Virgil right back. And if nothing else, Virgil can at least protect him from another attack and get him another card. So the Virgil stall game is good. Oh, never mind. Rips the tour guide. Looks like he won't even need to use the Virgil effect, maybe. If he has another Burning Abyss in his hand, alright. GG. GG's called, and I don't think that this is a very good matchup for Dark World. Dark World, hold on. Okay, so Dark World Dealings, Dark World Lightning, Gates of the Dark Worlds, Gateway to the Dark World, that was the quick play. Card Destruction, Morphin Jar. Shit, I really can't think of the Dark World Trap. And nobody plays it, even though it's like tailor-made for this type of matchup. Dude, I'm like about to Google that. That is like seriously bugging me. I think it has gold on the card and like Raikou on it. Dark World Smog. That's what it is. Dark World Smog. Or Smog of the Dark World. I think it's just Dark World Smog. That's what it is. Yeah. That's the card that you want to use in this matchup. You get one of those. If your opponent can't kill it, just wreck them. Especially if you can get Beige. If you can get Beige and Grapha, where you can just constantly pitch Beige to summon Grapha, then you can just endlessly use Beige over and over and over and over again. So, like, that's what you really want to use Dark World Smog with. Alright, so who's going first? Domir is going first. Or Donir, sorry. He's going first. Guess he doesn't want to risk the anti-spell dankness being on the field. Says, you know what, dog? I think I'll just go first. Opening pretty similar to last time. Once again, he is the player to put the tour guide of the underworld first on the board. Okay, but will he be the last one? Can he keep his opponent from getting tour guide on the field? Tour guide actually isn't a power play in Dark World unless you can actually get it. And unless you can get something banished with like Allure or Gates or something like that. It's actually not that like potent, to be honest. That's why it's not a great play just going first. Unless you have like a Foolish and you can like just pitch a Grapha and then you can get your Brow to your hand. It's actually not that great of a play. It obviously shines. Wow, he's going for his own Dante. Okay, so let me get this straight. Both players are playing Tour Guide. Both players go Tour Guide Dante. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Not really good mills there. The only card you actually want to mill is, for the most part, like Grapha, but I guess it's fine because he got a Fiend monster. He already had a Fiend with Tour Guide in the graveyard, so it's gonna pitch Snow. Also, I wouldn't be just like, I think he burnt himself out. Like, why would you? I'm not pitching Grapha without my opponent having like a card on the board. There's too much 101 and shit in the game where they can just stop that. They can just stop a Grapha on board sitting there naked. You know what I mean? If you don't have a skill drain or something to back them up, like, I just don't recommend doing it. Cause there's Castel, there's 101, there's like too many ways. Dark Rebellion, Exceed Dragon, take the Grapha stats, attack over it. When Grapha comes back, you can't beat over Dark Rebellion Exceed because it's too fucking powerful. So like, to me, just throwing a Grapha out there without blowing something up on the field is just like not worth it. Unless you're just gonna kill your opponent that turn. It's just not worth it. Or if they have like one card in their hand and they're drawing to like 2 cards, then maybe. But outside of that, it's not good to me. Okay, so a pretty average at best play from Mint turn 1. Once again, we see Kagna tried to summon. And we see that countered again, but this time by Vanities. Okay. Quite frankly, I think it would have been better to let that be summoned. And to, like, when he normal summoned, then I would have Vanities. Cause then you'd have had Kagna on the field, just trapped on the field. Like, it wouldn't have been able to do anything. Now, let's see if he can counter here. He can obviously turn his Vanities off whenever he wants. Viper setting 3 cards. He has locked himself out of special summoning, though. So, but yeah, I'd have let him, like, normal summon first. But then I guess you're, like, opened up to potentially a Fire Lake play if you let him, like, have the 2 monsters. Well, and there's Fire Lake right there. So I guess he was right to do that because he could have potentially got Fire Lake. All right. So Dark World Dealings is played and another graph is going down. It's going down for real. Looks like he's going to lose, Another card on this field. Oh, by the way, if he pitches a Burning Abyss like Graph, that would summon. It will not summon, so. Cause, you know, Vanity still has that lingering effect, so. Alright, looks like he's gonna, oh, okay, for Kogna, he's gonna do, Good and Evil, the Burning Abyss in the graveyard. I'm like, why is he looking in his deck? I'm like, why on earth? I was like, if he pitches Graph, he needs to know that he doesn't get the special. Or if he pitches Seer to try and get Kogna back, doesn't work. So it looks like he's chaining to Grapha. He hasn't even discarded his card yet. What? Did he even discard a card? I feel like he hasn't even discarded the card yet. I could be totally wrong. I feel like he totally hasn't even discarded his card for Dark World Dealings yet. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. He discarded Kogna. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, he discarded Kogna. I'm like, okay, how did Kogna get into the graveyard? Okay, that's what he discarded. He discarded Kogna. Alright, so this time he's gonna play Phoenix Wind Blast, which means he needs to discard again. It's still the same thing though. If he pitches Seer or Graph, it's still not gonna special. So he has to pitch something though. I feel like whatever he pitches is not gonna be anything he's overly excited about. But let's see what he's gonna pitch, and let's see what he's gonna target. Obviously, Dante, prime contender. If you do pitch Dante, then your opponent's really not missing out on their next summon, or excuse me, their next draw phase, so you're not setting them back, as people like to think. If you go for Dealings, you are setting them back, and you'll make them potentially mill the Dealings off Dante. Either that, or just not get an attack game boost. So, let's see what he does. Slow play for days? Yeah, this honestly is slow play. Alright, so he pitches Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's what I thought. I thought he'd pitch something that he wouldn't be that happy about pitching. So he pitches Anti-Spell Fragrance. At this point, Anti-Spell Fragrance I don't really think is doing that much. Mint just needs to summon, he just needs to normal summon and get his Graphas out. Like, he has 2 Graphas in the graveyard, get them out, let them boys start doing some work. See if you can get maybe a Felgrand or something. Okay, it looks like he's activating Terraforming. Are we gonna say a chicken game here? To just get that extra card? Yeah, I guess we are. So, chicken game is gonna be played. And, no, wait, no it's not. My bad, I thought chicken game was gonna be played. Okay, so he just wanted to search for chicken game and nothing else. I think that he realized that if he didn't get a Dark World monster, it would be way too advantageous for his opponent, because he could just draw a free card. So, no chicken game here, guys. No chicken game here. I like chicken game, but it's a dangerous card, man. It really is. Like, it really does. The card art actually, and the card name works perfectly. Because it is like, when you activate chicken game, it is like playing chicken. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like you're walking you're playing this dangerous game with your opponent. Like, you know what I mean? And then your opponent has to decide, do I want to blow up chicken game, or do I want to let him keep it? Rivalry of Warlords, what the freak? Okay, now, Crane, off the top of my head, what are you? Conventional logic would say you're a winged beast. Please be a winged beast. Thank God. I'm like, if that's not a winged beast, if it's a machine or something, I'm just gonna lose it. Alright, so it's a winged beast. Obviously he's locked into winged beast monsters, can't play anything. Now I play chicken game because you've got your opponent locked under winged beast. They can't do it, like, he can't do any plays. So it doesn't matter what Viper draws. He can draw 50,000 Burning Abyss. Like, if he's locked under winged beast, like, they don't do anything. Plays that drag down. He's gonna get rid of the gates in his hand. He needs to get some Dark World monsters. And obviously he'll get a peek at Viper's hand. This would be a good time to make him discard some some Burning Abyss monsters. Gets rid of Foolish Burial instead. Because if he gets rid of any Burning Abyss, like, no Burning Abyss can be special, because again, he's still locked under Winged Beast. And it's not like Viper can do any damage here. A, he has a lower life point, so Chicken Game is stopping the damage. B, he can't really do any damage because he only has a 300 attack monster. How much battle damage are you doing with a 300 attack monster and you can't summon anything else? So, fortunately he didn't get Tour Guide, he got Crane, and Crane obviously put a lock-in on him. So, RIP to Chicken Game. Okay, well, he can take battle damage now, but technically he took more damage that turn than his opponent did. So he took 1,000 damage and his opponent only took 300. So it's actually a net win for Mint. It's like, it's a random, like, it's oddly enough a net win. It'll actually take him 3 turns just to recuperate that 1,000 damage that he paid, or that 1,000 cost. It'll take him 3 full turns of attacking just to basically do more than that. Blind MST during the end phase, RIP skill drain, which is terrible against Dark Worlds in general. Especially when his opponent has already used the one monster in the deck that it's good against. That obviously being, like, it's good against Tour Guide and nothing else in the deck. We see another chicken game played. And that's followed up by an upstart, which actually makes that entire 1,000 that Viper played or a couple of turns ago, like, completely moot. Once again, Mint just doesn't play monsters in this deck other than Grapha and Torgat, apparently. We don't see any. I mean, that's why I like Beige so much, man, because when you draw Beige, you can summon it. I know it doesn't have the greatest effect. It's not as powerful as Silver and Gold, when it's on the field, but I like being able to normal summon it. And this duel has come to a screeching halt as far as the pace anyways. All of these draw 1 cards can't get any monsters, so he's just losing basically. Till he gets any monsters, this duel is not going to change. And 300 is not a lot, but like eventually it'll add up. It just takes a really, 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 really long time. It takes a long time. Like, even right now, I think he's only done 1,500 with this Crane, which is just, I mean, 1,500 ain't shit. Like, especially when Solemn Notice comes out, like, you're just gonna laugh and feel like 1,500? Ha! Like, for 1,500, I can negate basically anything. I can negate an entire Pendulum Summon for 1,500. So what is 1,500 life points? That's nothing. Alright, so, Mint, once again, looking for monsters. They're just not coming. Viper is just capitalizing by doing the 1,500, grinding the game out. And this match is nothing like I thought it was going to be. I never thought that a Crane would be sitting on the field as the only monster currently doing the most damage. Like, I guess Mint just, maybe he oversighted. Because, I mean, you can't side out your Dark World monsters, obviously, because then you mess up the consistency of the deck. Alright, looks like he's going to play a Gate, activates Drag Down, gets rid of the Dark Creator. Okay, that shouldn't be in the deck for starters. That card shouldn't be in your Dark World deck. That's one of the reasons why you're not having success. That should be a Dark World monster. Gets rid of Mathematician, which can't be summoned. And gets him a draw 1, which is again not a Dark World monster. I feel like when he finally summons his Dark World, it's going to get like warning they're bottomless. He's going to lose. Because you can't give, even though Viper is locked under a 300 monster, you can't give your opponent this much time. Like, you can't give your opponent 7 turns of setup and expect them not to be able to stop a normal summon. Like, that's not practical in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you finally get that monster and it's like, oh, you know, torrential, oh, bottomless, you know what I mean, solemn warning. Because you wouldn't use Book of Moon here because, you know, Crane can't attack over a rock. That thing can't, you know, 300 attack ain't getting over nothing in this game for the most part. Except those obscure monsters with like 0 attack like Rainbow, or 0 defense like Rainbow Dragon. You happen to book them and they have like 0 defense randomly. Alright, so Crane's still getting it in. It's gonna activate Gate again. I really hope this time. I mean, he only has 13 cards in deck. Like, how many Dark World monsters do you run? Like, you would think that 3 Grapha, 3 Snow, and 3 Brow are standard. And then maybe like 2 Beige and 2 Silvers, or 2 Beige and like, you know, 3 Silvers. Like, you need something. He's gonna get Grapha? Okay. Don't get that. I don't get that when you need something to normal summon. I know he only has like 1 Brow left in his deck too. Because he ended up milling a Brow too. Alright, so he pitches Grapha to trade in. 9 cards left in his deck. There's actually a legitimate chance he'll just deck out now. Doesn't get Grapha's effect because it was discarded as a cost. It was discarded with an effect. So there goes Horn of Heaven. And again, you don't give your opponent 15 turns. And then your opponent will obviously say, yeah, you don't give your opponents 15 turns to stop 1 normal summon. with people playing Horn of Heaven, Bottomless, Solemn Warning, Torrential Tribute. It's just too many, like, it's too much stuff out there, you know? Like, Horn of Heaven is the newest new hot tech. Now I think you'd be trying to look for a Fire Lake to get, I'd be trying to look for a Fire Lake to potentially get, what's it called? Rivalry of Warlords off the field, and maybe some ways to trigger certain graph, get those on the board and just win. Just blow my opponent out the water. When your opponent commits that much to the board, you know, back row can't fight back. So that's the thing. Alright, so Seer was summoned. That gets bottomless. Yeah, back row can't fight back. Monsters can fight back. Back row can't fight back. You know what I mean? I guess you can activate them, but, you know, I don't know. It always seems easier to attack back row than to attack monsters. Solemn Warning for the beige. Yes way. And I suspect at some point there'll probably be a bottomless to follow that up. And this is just unfortunate, but, you know, this is Dark World, man. And now the thing is, Viper doesn't actually need any more big monsters. He can simply attack with 15s and in a couple of turns he'll win. Cause, you know, he did so much work with the Crane. So while Crane was out there being a good soldier, he was just able to stack up his back row to where he could use, you know, where he could stack up a Horn of Heaven plus a Solemn Warning. Activates Upstart Goblin, 9 cards left in deck. Activates another Upstart Goblin. Oh, excuse me, I was a 6. 5 cards left in deck, excuse me. Yeah, dude, I think winning by deck out is actually a viable option here. I like to win by deck out too. I feel like it's more gratifying than winning by battle damage. Like if my opponent gets under 4 cards and I'm actually in a pretty comfortable position, I'll just deck him out. I'll just be like, I'm gonna deck you. See, like right here, wait a minute. No, he can attack over because he has 300 more attack. That Vanities actually does nothing. Does he not know that his monster is 1700 attack? And that Cogna is only 1500 attack? What? What? What is, Kappa? What is going on? Does he not know his monster is bigger? Dude, his monster is 17. Kappa. I'm sorry. Does anyone not realize his monster is 17? I think I'm just done. I'm just done for tonight, guys. I think I'm just done, man. Seriously. My lord. Does he not realize his monster is bigger than this? Maybe he doesn't want to get burned to death or something, but dude, your monster is bigger than the Cogna. So that must be, he must not want to get burned to death because he must not realize that his monster is like bigger than this. This guy is 1500 and this guy is 1700. So like what? I don't know. I think he should go for deck out now. Puts it in defense mode for what reason? Okay. Activates another Storming Mirror Force. I assume he'll just summon it back. And I wouldn't even attack anymore. I would just try and go for the much more gratifying deck out. Yeah, I would just try and go for the much more gratifying deck out. To me, decking your opponent out is always much more memorable than winning by battle damage. Like if you win a just regular duel by battle, you're not gonna remember that shit in a week. You deck your opponent out. That's something you think about, like, man, I remember that one time I decked that guy out. Like, you know, it becomes like part of like, your dueling legacy, man. Cause it just doesn't happen that much. It's like when you deck your opponent out, like, you remember it. If you beat up an opponent, even if it's an epic duel, like you're gonna forget about it. But when you deck somebody out, maybe you'll forget about it when you're old or something, but you're gonna remember it a lot longer. That's all I'm gonna say. You'll remember it a lot longer. So, let's see what's gonna happen here. I still don't quite understand the Brow in defense mode. If he really wanted to get Grapha on board, he would have just simply let it attack him. I don't know that he even has 7 BAs in the graveyard to burn him to death with. I'm almost certain he doesn't. So I don't understand why he doesn't just run that fucking thing over. Maybe there's something else here that I'm not seeing, but when he attacked it twice, I don't get it. Mystical Space Typhoon is used. Another Rivalry of Warlords. Okay. He can't even Xyz into Dante. Like, he can't Xyz into anything. Because Dante's a warrior, and all the Burning Abyss monsters are fiends. Mind Crush is played. Maybe he's trying to set up for a Fire Lake play here. All right. I think he's finally trying to go for deck out. All right, he's gonna bounce for Graph. I don't understand this duel at all. I don't understand this duel at all. Wait. Why am I saying Burn to Death? This isn't even Babar. This is Cogna. Oh my, I don't understand this duel at all, guys. So, he's not gonna go for double Grapha. Again, he could have done this like 2 turns ago. But he apparently didn't realize that his monsters get attack gain from this. Again, sometimes I wonder why people always tell me to read my cards. I'm sitting here thinking that this is Babar. This ain't even Babar. He can't even burn him. Alright, so he's doing some battle damage. I still would try and deck him out. If I lose in the process, man, them be the breaks. I'd just be like, dude, I'm decking you out. I will not attack you. I'll attack you. I just won't kill you. Yeah, I'll attack him. I just won't kill him. He can't exceed either, because unless it's for a fiend, and I don't think there's any fiend. Like, there probably is a rank 8 fiend, but it's probably not good. Like, I can't think, I'm trying to think of any that commonly use rank 8s. I mean, are there any fiends that are good? So neither player can, like, pretty much exceed. But, like, the Viper can stall. Although, technically, if he takes 1 direct attack from a Grappa, he loses. So, now it's crazy. Why did they instantly know that the 300 attack gain goes on Grappa, but they didn't realize that it goes on Brow? That's just weird to me. And have we seen his 3rd Grappa yet? I feel like we haven't seen his 3rd Grappa. Okay, so there's Babar, finally, the card that I apparently thought was on the field the entire time. So he can't just set, otherwise his BA will blow itself up. So he has to summon. Oh, Fire Lake City. I think you go after both Graphas and Robbery of Warlords. I don't really think there's a point of going, maybe you go after the face down, who knows. I would go after both Graphas though, definitely. I would try and set him back. The Viper must be thinking about what he wants to target here. Okay, so he's going after Robbery of Warlords. He's letting him keep a Grapha. Interesting. He's going after the back row too. It's a Stormy Mirror Force. That card's everywhere now, man. But then again, you gotta have ways of getting those spaceships off the field, right? Dark World can't get over spaceships inherently unless you have gates on the board and you just crash into them, I guess. Like you just crash into Dark Destroyer. Okay. And it's gonna Soul Charge. For maybe he's trying to go for Virgil? No Virgil. But a Dante could stall a couple. Why would he get those two though? That's interesting. I mean, surely he has some like other Burning Abyss monsters that float and like do better than what he's gonna summon, but I don't know. I kind of lost track of this duel like 2 turns ago, to be honest. Puts himself at 800 light points. Now, aren't they're actually, wait a minute, can't he go into Giant Grinder and just burn him to death? I forgot what Giant Grinder, I feel like Giant Grinder has an effect that burns your opponent to death. Like, I feel like he might not even need to technically attack. He could go into Giant Grinder and just burn him. But I guess that depends on that back row, though. It really depends on the back row. Alright, 1 card left in Mint's deck. This duel has just been so, I don't even know how to describe this shit. Just the Dante on board. But wait, I think, man, I need to see Giant Grinder. I don't know if the monster has to be in it. I know it has to be like a special summon monster. I think from like the extra deck. I don't think it has to be in attack mode. I think it just has to be like a monster in, like a special summon monster from the extra deck. And you like, I think you destroy it and you burn them for the attack damage. I'm pretty sure. And I think Giant Grinder requires 2 8s. And it looks like a bug sitting in a chair or something like that. It's like a giant grasshopper or some shit. Alright, Phoenix with 1 Blast is used on Brow. Okay. So there goes that normal summon. Skarm is played off of the Graph. And I think he's trying to go for the stall, for the what's it called? The stalling him out. I think he's trying to stall him out. But then again, that is a little counterproductive. Okay, so he's gonna attack Skarm. I would have probably done the same thing. Main phase 2. Probably just pass turn. Nope, setting a card instead. If that's Mind Crush, it's totally dead, by the way, too. So, if it's Mind Crush, RIP. If it's Skill Drain, he can still use it, though. Oddly enough. Gets himself a Seer. Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. And play will go back to the Viper. Who, I don't know what he's going to do here. If he has Virgil, just dump your entire hand into Virgil and just try and kill him. He's going to mill 3. See if he can hit a Farfa and just ram for game. Nope, he can't hit a Farfa, but he does get a free Skarm. If he had a Farfa, he could just attack with Dante, which, again, I feel like it'd be more gratifying if he just stalled to win. Okay, looks like he did some burn damage. Did he hit him with a Babar? All I saw was Skarm. Wow, so now Babar can kill him too. This duel is getting interesting. It's going straight down to the wire. Both players have 5 or less cards in their deck. Both players also have less than 500 light points, and we see a scoop phase from Mint. Wow, it's not even a scoop phase. He just quit the duel. I guess he knew Nightmare Shark was coming, maybe as a potential option. I still think it would have been better if he would have tried to deck him out. So many questionable plays in that game. I don't even know where to begin. Thank you guys for watching as always.